Hello and welcome to part 2 of our 7.7 notes. We're going to be working with rational exponents. The same four steps here are going to apply. It's just the problems themselves are going to look slightly different. Okay, so we're going to move down to part 2 here, equations with rational exponents. So the same first step is going to apply here. We need to get the radical alone. Now the radical here is the cube root. So we're going to go ahead and add 4 to the other side. And divide by 2. And now you have a couple of options. If you want to switch over to the nth root, the radical form, versus the rational form, you can. Otherwise, you can just leave it in this form, and if it's the 1/3 power, it is the cube root. So we want to raise both sides to a power that's going to undo that 1/3 power. In essence, we want to cube both sides. So depending on which looks better to you to solve, you can pick either method. And then we can go ahead and solve these equations because the 1/3 and the third, when we multiply them, it becomes a 1. That undoes itself. So we get 6x minus 3 equals 2 to the 3rd power, or 8. When we add 3 and then divide by 6, we do get x equals 11 over 6. And when we check our answer here, we're going to go back and plug it into our original equation. So 6 times 11 over 6 becomes 11. So we get 2 times 8 to the 1/3 power. Now 8 to the 1/3 power is the cubed root of 8, which is 2. So 4 minus 4 does equal 0. So x equals 11/6 is the correct answer. Let's try another one here. Now we have the 4th root. So the same first two steps are going to go ahead and apply. So we're going to go ahead and add 6 and then divide by 3. So we add 6 and divide by 3, we get the 4th root of 2n plus 6 equals 2. We're going to take both sides, and to undo a 4th root, you have to raise it to the 4th power. So the 4th root and the 4th on the left-hand side undo each other. And on the right-hand side, we're left with 2 to the 4th power, or 16. We subtract 6 and we solve the resulting equation to get n equals 5. And then we do make sure to go back and check our solution. We get 3 times the 4th root of 2 times 5 plus 6 is 16. 3 times the 4th root of 16 is 3 times 2. This does indeed end up with a true statement. So n equals 5 is our solution. So let's take a look at example 6 here. So we're going to go ahead and add 8 to both sides. Then we're going to get rid of that negative 1/4. We're going to multiply both sides by negative 4. Then here again, you can view this as the 5th root of 2x plus 6 to the 4th. But then the question becomes, well, what do you undo first? Do you undo the 5th or do you undo to the 4th power? So it all depends on how you look at it. Otherwise, you can do this all in one foul swoop if you take 4 over 5 and we raise both sides to the reciprocal, so 5 over 4, because then the 5's and the 4's undo each other at the same time. And you get 2x plus 6 equals 16 to the 5/4. Now, you'll notice you will get the same thing over here. Oops, if you did that, no matter what order you did it in. Now, I wouldn't want to do 16 to the 5th power. So you're going to have to take the 4th root of that first and break it down and make it a little bit nicer. So we're at the same point here. We're going to take the 4th root of 16 and get an answer and then raise it to the 5th power. The 4th root of 16 is 2, and 2 to the 5th power is 32. So 2x equals 26 and x equals 13. Now, once again, we are going to go back and we're going to check our answer and just make sure that it actually works out. So negative 1/4 of 2 times 13 plus 6 ends up being 32 in there. The 5th root of 32 is 2, and 2 to the 4th power is 16. So we get negative 4 minus 8 equals negative 12. This indeed is another solution that does end up working. It is not extraneous. So that's a wrap for part 2. Thank you very much for listening. We can move on to part 3 after that.